Carson Wentz. Everybody's expecting everything from them because of the connection they had when they had in Philadelphia. That is a very, very, very good Indianapolis Colts roster that they have. The expectation to win and go deep to the playoffs and make a Super Bowl run are real and legitimate when it comes to Indianapolis. I think, as far as like Detroit goes, we got a year or two before we start talking about that. There could be a ton of pressure on McVay.
We got a decade before we start talking about that. They've still got 3 more head coaches and 4 more quarterbacks to go through before we talk about anything like that.
I don't think that there's a ton of pressure on McVay and Stafford just because the LA market isn't brutal to their football teams because they don't care. So, it's not the Raiders, so they're gone. They're in Las Vegas. So I don't think there's a ton of pressure there. If you ask me, it has to be on Frank Reich and on Carson Wentz just because of that, the way the roster is currently construed and the amount of talent, and it's a Super Bowl ready roster.
100%. Why? What are your thoughts on this?
Well, I could promise you which team it's not, because Detroit is going to have zero pressure on them whatsoever. If they come out and they are 1-7, or if they are 0-17, 1-16, nobody's going to care. And if they're 8-9, nobody's going to care. So they've got zero pressure on them at all. So
Luke G is going to come out here and tear you apart.
Huh?
Luke G is going to come on here and tear you apart.
Hey, bring on Luke G, man, because I'm telling you, there's no way they get more than 8 wins this year. There is no way. Buck thinks it's 10. Luke G is at least a little better. He thinks it's 8 or 9, so I'll give you that, Luke G.
He said 8 to 10. He said 8 to 10. He said
8 to 12, sure. But so when we really look at it, I think there's a lot of pressure on both. It's a tough decision, though, because like Tori mentioned, you do have the Super Bowl MVP connection between Frank Reich and Carson Wentz. We saw how dominant they were the last time they were together. Everybody remembers the hungry dogs run faster thing, as well as whenever you look out at LA, they've got an incredible roster, too. They've got a great defense. Essentially, I'm not going to lie to you, they're kind of the same team, same situation. Except for the only difference is Frank Reich has been with Wentz before, and McVay has never been with Stafford. So that's the only difference, because when you look at it, both teams have good, solid offenses that can put up a lot of points, as well as an awesome defense, the top 5 defense, top 3 actually for both of them, to back it up as well. So they both have new quarterbacks. So I think the pressure's pretty evenly disputed across. The only thing I will agree with Tori here, the only reason why I will say the Colts have a little more is because of that connection they've already had with the MVP year for Carson Wentz, almost MVP year, and because of the Super Bowl that they won. Carson Wentz, of course, on the sideline because he got hurt, but he did lead them to that point. So I think there's a little more pressure on that because these two have already succeeded together rather than what McVay and Stafford have done. I think both teams have a lot of pressure, though. I think both teams are going to succeed this year and going to be valid Super Bowl candidates. Both sides. Absolutely, I think they will. So